It was a cold afternoon in downtown Atlanta, the kind of day where the wind sliced through even the thickest coats. Cars rolled by, people hurried to offices, and no one really looked around, except one woman standing at the corner of Peachtree and 7th, clutching a worn-out box of candy bars. Her name was Danielle Brooks, 28, exhausted, and surviving $1 at a time. Her hands trembled from the cold, and her voice cracked as she repeated the same words for hours. "Excuse me, sir, would you like to buy some candy? Just $2 each." Most people walked past without hearing her. Some frowned, others pretended to check their phones. Danielle wasn't begging. She never begged. She sold. Because every piece of candy was a fight against her past. A past full of eviction notices, unpaid hospital bills, and a promise she made to her late mother: "I'll never give up, no matter how bad it gets." Across the street, in a sleek black Tesla, sat Michael Donovan, a man whose face often appeared on Forbes magazine covers. 37 years old, billionaire tech investor, but emotionally bankrupt. The kind of man whose money couldn't buy sleep. He was scrolling through business emails when his eyes accidentally caught sight of Danielle's reflection in the car window, her tired stance, her unshakable persistence. Something in her made him pause. Maybe it was the way she smiled politely after every rejection, or maybe it was because no one else even looked at her. He told himself to ignore it. He had a meeting. He had an empire to run. Yet, for reasons he couldn't explain, he rolled the window down and called out, "Hey, miss." Danielle jumped slightly, surprised. "Yes, sir. Candy?" he asked. "You selling those?" Her face lit up like a streetlight in darkness. "Yes, sir. Just $2 each. You can pick any flavor." Michael stared at her box. "How many you got there?" "Maybe 50, she guessed. "Been out here since morning, only sold 8. He paused. Then, almost absent-mindedly, said, "I'll take them all." Her jaw dropped. All 50. "Yeah," he said, pulling out a thick wad of cash. "Keep the change." Danielle's eyes watered. "Sir, that's too much. I can't." He smiled faintly. "You earned it." She bit her lip, trembling. "God bless you, sir. You don't know what this means." He was about to drive away when she said softly, "Can I ask something?" "Why'd you do that?" Michael hesitated. "Because," he said quietly, "you didn't ask for pity. You offered value. That's rare." That small moment, barely 60 seconds, was the spark that ignited an unbelievable chain of events neither of them could have predicted. Later that night, Danielle walked home to her tiny apartment in a run-down part of town. The elevator hadn't worked in months, so she climbed 5 flights of stairs, humming softly to herself. Her daughter, Amira, only 6, was sitting on the floor drawing with crayons. "Mama," she shouted, "you got candy money." Danielle laughed, scooping her up. "Oh, baby, we did better than that today." She waved the money proudly. "We can pay the rent this month." Amira cheered, but behind that joy lingered exhaustion. The wallpaper peeled from the walls. The fridge hummed weakly with almost nothing inside. Still, Danielle prayed every night, whispering into the darkness, "Thank you, Lord, for today. Just help me get through tomorrow." Meanwhile, Michael returned to his mansion, 30,000 square feet of silence. He walked past marble staircases, chrome kitchens, rooms he never used. His assistant, Nora, asked, "Sir, everything all right?" "Yeah," he lied. "Just thinking." But he wasn't thinking about business. He was thinking about her. That woman with the candy. Something about her eyes stuck. In his mind, the quiet dignity, the fight. He couldn't explain it, but he felt like she reminded him of someone he used to know, someone he lost long ago. The next morning, instead of heading straight to his office, Michael drove back to that same street corner. Danielle wasn't there. He asked a nearby shopkeeper, "You seen a woman selling candy here yesterday?" "About late 20s, black, short braids." The man shrugged. "She comes some days. Not regular though. Sometimes disappears for weeks. Heard she's got a kid, maybe sick." Something twisted inside Michael's chest. Sick kid. He didn't know why he cared, but he did. He found himself leaving a card with his number at the store. "If she shows up, tell her to call me. Name's Michael Donovan." 3 days later, Danielle did. Hesitant, nervous, but hopeful. "Mr. Donovan, you said to call." "Yeah," he replied. "I was wondering if you'd have coffee with me. No strings. Just talk." That was the start of a friendship that would shake both their worlds. At first, Danielle thought he was just being kind out of guilt, but as they talked, she realized Michael was lonelier than anyone she'd ever met. His wealth isolated him, his family was gone, and behind all his money, he was just human. Over time, he started visiting her neighborhood, not for charity but for peace. Amira adored him. He'd bring her art supplies, books, even groceries, but always respectfully, never making them feel small. Danielle resisted help at first. "I don't need saving," she told him one night. "I'm not here to save you," Michael said softly. "Maybe you're the one saving me." But not everyone saw it that way. When photos of them surfaced online, him, a billionaire, and her, a candy seller, the tabloids exploded. Billionaire's mystery woman, from the streets to the penthouse. They mocked her, tore her apart. Danielle cried that night, sitting on her bed. "They think I'm some gold digger, Michael." He held her hand. "Let them talk. They don't know your heart." Yet the storm grew worse. Investors started questioning Michael's judgment. His company's board warned him to cut ties with the woman, or risk losing millions. He refused. That's when everything changed. The storm hit faster than either of them expected. Within a week, headlines tore Danielle apart, calling her a fraud, a social climber, a woman using pity to trap a billionaire. The same people who ignored her on the streets now judged her from behind screens. Danielle tried to smile for Amira, but at night, she cried silently, afraid Michael would one day see her the way the world did. Then one morning, Michael's lawyer stormed into his office with a folder. "Sir, you need to see this." Inside were documents, old records, police reports, and something that froze Michael's heart. Danielle's real last name wasn't Brooks. Her birth name was Danielle Carter, daughter of Raymond Carter, the same man who'd once worked for Michael's late father, and who'd been accused of stealing millions from his company before mysteriously disappearing. Michael's chest tightened. "You're saying her father?" "Yes," the lawyer cut in. "She's the daughter of the man who ruined your family." That night, Michael sat in silence, torn between anger and disbelief. Was everything a lie? Was Danielle's kindness just revenge dressed as innocence? He didn't call her for days. When he finally showed up, his eyes were cold. "Why didn't you tell me who you are?" he demanded. Danielle froze. "Because it didn't matter. I was 12 when my father ran off. I haven't seen him since." "You think I'm like him?" Michael turned away. "I don't know what to think anymore." Tears burned her eyes. "I thought you saw me, Michael. Not my name, not my past." He didn't answer. He just walked out. For the first time in years, Danielle felt the crushing weight of her old life return. She packed her things, took Amira, and disappeared. No messages, no trace. But Michael couldn't sleep. Something in his gut told him she was telling the truth. Days later, his assistant discovered a letter buried in the old company archives, one from Raymond Carter himself, written before his death. In it, he confessed he'd been framed by Michael's father's partner. He hadn't stolen anything, he'd taken the blame to protect someone else. Michael's world shattered. She was innocent, her father was innocent. Heart pounding, he rushed to find Danielle, but she was gone. Her apartment empty, phone disconnected. The woman who'd sold candy to survive had vanished into the night. As the city lights blurred outside his car window, he whispered, "Danielle, where are you?" 3 months passed. The city forgot her, but Michael never did. He searched every shelter, every store, every church outreach list until one snowy evening he found himself outside a small community center in Savannah. Inside, children were laughing, coloring, and singing. Then he saw her, Danielle, wearing a volunteer's badge, helping kids read. Amira was beside her, smiling brighter than ever. For a moment, Michael just watched, guilt and relief crashing over him. When Danielle turned and saw him standing at the door, her face froze. The room went quiet. "Michael," she whispered. He took a step closer, his voice trembling. "I found the letter, Danielle. Your father didn't steal anything. I was wrong, about everything." Her eyes filled with tears. "You didn't believe me. I know, and I'll never forgive myself for that." He took her hands gently. "But if you can forgive me, I'll spend the rest of my life making it right." She looked at him for a long, silent moment. Then Amira ran up and hugged him. "Mr. Michael, you came back." He smiled, kneeling beside her. "Yeah, sweetheart, and I'm not leaving again." He turned to Danielle. "You're not selling candy anymore. You'll live with me, both of you, not as charity, never that, but as family." Danielle's lips trembled. "You mean that?" "With all my heart." The next scene the world saw wasn't a headline about scandal, but a photo of a man, a woman, and a child standing together on the steps of the community center, smiling like they'd finally found home. Months later, Danielle started her own foundation, Sweet Beginnings, to help single mothers start small businesses. Michael funded it, but it was Danielle's dream. When people asked her how it all began, she'd just laugh softly and say, with one candy bar, and one man who decided to listen. And every time someone asked Michael why he helped her, he'd reply, "She didn't sell me candy. She sold me hope." So, if you're watching this right now, remember, kindness costs nothing, but it can buy someone's entire tomorrow. Subscribe, because stories like this aren't fiction, they're reminders of what humanity can still be. Dash dash dash.